All right, I'm about to show you a single leg hip thrust. I like the single leg hip thrust because one, I may not have a heavier enough weight to provide good resistance when I'm doing a double leg hip thrust. So a single leg is great if we have a set of dumbbells already at home, but maybe they're just not as heavy to provide a challenge when I'm doing hip thrust with both legs. So you can do this at home on your couch, if you have a workout bench or even like an ottoman. If you're using something that has a little bit of a harder surface, you may want to add some padding, whether you just fold up a yoga mat, something to kind of go behind the back. So typically what we want when we're doing a hip thrust, I'm going to show you the standard with the double leg just for setup, is it's most comfortable for the hinge point to be about mid back. But the most important thing is that you just find that kind of comfortable area. And so when we're at the top of our thrust, you want to make sure that core is engaged the entire time. We don't want those bottom ribs to stick out as we're thrusting. So that means that I'm not engaging my core enough. So I need to kind of do a little crunch to keep it down. As far as the top of the thrust, I want my knee to end over my foot. What we don't want is my foot now is a little bit too far for my hip thrust. And then here, you'll see that my foot is a little bit too close for my body during the thrust. So to get good activation of the glute, I want the end product to be, I'm thrusted up, core engaged, but my knee is going to be over my foot at the very end of the drive. So that's going to be our positioning for the hip thrust. Now to make it a single, I'm just going to move the leg that I'm not working on, just shift it forward a little bit so that most of my weight's going to be on that knee that's bent to 90 degrees. And I'm going to focus a little bit more on that leg for a thrust. So technique wise, core is engaged, and then I'm going to drop and hinge down like a seesaw. Core still engaged even when I'm down. So you don't want to be slouched and slumped and over crunched. So back is still relatively in a straight neutral position. And then when I do a push off, I'm going to exhale, core still engaged, squeeze the glutes, thrust up. Hinge down like a seesaw, core still engaged. And then squeezing the glutes, thrusting up. The harder I squeeze my glutes, the more I need to keep my core engaged as I come up so that I don't overarch and completely disengage the core on the way up. So if I'm using weight, what I love about this exercise is I just need a single dumbbell. If I was doing a double leg thrust, typically you would put the weight kind of centered over you. But if you're having any type of like pelvic issues, and so it's just in general a little bit uncomfortable if I don't add a bunch of padding here, which then makes it a little bit awkward for the hip thrust. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to hold onto the dumbbell. My hand is going to create a little bit of a cushion for me, and I'm going to place it near the crease of my hip. So again, here, I'm just going to add a dumbbell on the side I'm working on, and then I'm going to core engaged, hinge down, squeeze the glutes, exhale on the way up, and then I come up for the hip thrust. So that's going to be our single leg hip thrust, or we can use a dumbbell. The amount of weight that you use is like up to you, if you're prescribed a certain amount of weight to start at. But this is nice because I don't have to load up a ton of weight on top of my lap to get like a good workout for the glutes.